So I guess we'll head back upstairs and let's see. Yep, this lighthouse is still flooded. So who wants to bet that the third button drains the lighthouse? I mean, it's the only place left we haven't drained at this point. So what else would the last button do? So everything else should be flooded once again, except maybe the lighthouse. Yep, sure enough, there it is. The lighthouse is now dry. You know, these things drain ridiculously fast. Looks like we got a gigantic treasure chest, but it also has a padlock on it. Damn you, jerk that chained it to the floor or ceiling up there. Well, here's a valve. And it's releasing water. Oh, like this tiny bit of water leaves a stain, unlike all the water that was in here just a second ago. Well, I guess if it evaporates that quickly. But, so what did that do? I mean, this doesn't really make any sense. I mean, I came down here, I flipped the switch, so I guess I'm done here? I mean, you know the general rule of thumb with Myst, right? I mean, whenever you go to some place, you may not understand what everything does or what purpose anything serves, but, you know, one thing you might guess is that you're supposed to flip the switch. You know, that at least marks your presence, that you've been there, you've done something. So maybe you change things around, you come back, just keep experimenting, then something good will happen. Which is probably how most people solve this puzzle, actually. Because the solution doesn't really make any sense. And as you can see, we haven't actually affected anything yet. The key to understanding this solution, it's counterintuitive here, but I can see why they did it this way. Let's open up the lighthouse again because we didn't do it right the first time. The deal here is this chest is actually a lot lighter than it appears. Or in particular, it's very buoyant. The reason they made it large is so that you could not theoretically pick it up and carry it to the top of the stairs. But still it has the ability to float, despite these metal straps all over it. So the goal of this puzzle is to get this chest to float to the top of the well. And the explanation for this lies in this thing right here. This valve was initially closed but full of water. That's why it did not float. When we opened the valve, we released that water, which was good, so now it's full of air. However, when we went back upstairs and hit the button to fill this thing with water again, then this thing just, you know, the valve was open, so it just flooded with water. But now it's empty again because we just drained it again. So what we need to do is close the valve. So now air is trapped in that, Now air is trapped in the bottom of that chest. So anyway, the air trapped in that chest means the chest can now float. So when we turn this off and fill the lighthouse with water again, things will be a little different this time around. See? This chest has now suddenly floated to the top. Now, realistically, even if I was willing to concede this thing can float, I would expect it, well, first of all, it'd probably be upside down since the air is in the bottom of it, right? But second of all, it would probably get caught on the stairs. And even if it doesn't get caught on the stairs, it would probably, and with our luck, end up on this side. It would probably not be conveniently located right next to the key, exactly where we need it to open. But there it is for you. And we look in here and we have another key. This one is free. It isn't chained down. So now we can take this key and use it to open this. But before I do, let me just show you the absurdity of the insistence of these Myst guys and the anti-inventory aspect of the game. Normally I would take that piece of paper with me, right? And normally I would carry a key with me, right? Look how much of a klutz I am. see I still have the key, right? Did you hear that? Yeah, I dropped the key back into the water. That's how much I get in my own way. I don't want to take that half piece of paper for reference. I don't want to take this key with me in case I want to try to open any other lock in the game. No. This key is not allowed outside the lighthouse at any time. I mean, it turns out you never need it anywhere else, but there's no way an explorer would know that. So here it is. Kind of stupid. At least in my opinion. But I guess they don't want us carrying the key everywhere. So here we go. Put it in there. And we now have access to the upper floor of the lighthouse. So we'll forget that key, which we could go down there and look at the key in the lock in the basement, but the game won't let us pick up the key again. So it'd just be the same thing all over again. So now we're in the upper floor of the lighthouse. Doesn't look like there's much in here other than that, than this thing right here. We have a crank and a 6-pack of batteries, it looks like. Now you can see as we turn the crank, we're filling up that meter. So there's no reason not to fill it up all the way and power up something. You know, it'd be nice. I guess it'd be unnecessary, but if there was a door here leading out to that balcony on the lighthouse, we could go out there and walk around. But they won't let us. So what have we done here? Looks like we've turned on the power to something, but we have yet to figure out exactly what. But there's nothing else up here, so I guess we'll have to figure it out some other way. We look at the lighthouse. Well, now you can see that it's flashing up there. So we've turned on the light, and we turned on the power to something. What is it? Well, if we follow the power lines, they lead... This wire leads to this cave. And this wire leads to that cave. So let's look at the caves again. We've turned on the lights in the passage. Well, I guess that's convenient, but I could already reach the end of those passages with the lights off. So the fact that we went through all that trouble in the lighthouse just to light up the passages, that tells me there must be something important within the passage itself. So I should probably pay a little more attention this time around.